Oklahoma continues to rank high among the states for ownership of firearms, along with incidents of gun violence. Over the last 2 years alone, the state has issued more than 200,000 new concealed carry permits, and many of them were issued to women.
Across Oklahoma every day, people suffer gunshot wounds, whether from attacks, accidents, or self-inflicted. In Oklahoma City, police say they have come to expect at least one shooting a day, with at least one murder a week. The website 247wallstreet.com lists Oklahoma as 8th among the nation's top 10 states with the most gun violence, and the Brady campaign lists Oklahoma 4th among the top 10 states with the most lenient gun laws. The Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence examined FBI records and found that from 2002 to 2011, more than 5,000 people were killed with guns in Oklahoma. During the last legislative session, 50 bills were introduced involving firearms and ammunition. Only 6 of those bills became law. Sabina Brown is the volunteer chapter leader for Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in Oklahoma.
The bad things overwhelmingly seem to have been defeated. I think that goes to show that there is a lot of common ground between non-gun owners and gun owners. Most people agree on these things, and you could see that in action with these bills.
Charles Smith is executive director of the Oklahoma Rifle Association, the NRA chapter in Oklahoma. Smith quotes his longtime friend, former Senate President Pro Tem Glenn Coffey, in reacting to the death of so many gun bills.
People think we come here to make laws. He says that's not entirely true. We come here to stop a lot of bad bills from becoming laws. And I thought, thank goodness.
Sabina Brown believes the majority of Oklahomans would also agree that what is needed with gun laws in this state is some common sense.
The last number I saw was, over 85% of Oklahomans support things like background checks. So there is a disconnect between our leadership and what the average Oklahoman feels.
While the ORA's Charles Smith says common sense doesn't always mean the same thing to everyone, there have been 2 bills passed by lawmakers that made a lot of common sense. One allows a trained person to carry a weapon in public schools.
And I was very sympathetic with the rural school districts where it might take 10, 15 minutes for law enforcement to get there, so it was needed.
The other measure now requires the state's judiciary for the first time to take steps that will keep guns out of the hands of the severely mentally ill.
So this law requires the courts to report to the FBI anytime somebody has been deemed to be dangerously mentally ill or somebody deemed incompetent to purchase a gun or to carry a license.
Charles Smith agrees that law is a good one.
And that went into effect on the 1st of July. So now we will start turning in these records to the instant check. It's long overdue.
For Smith, the biggest gun issue in America today is finding a way to keep criminals from getting their hands on firearms, since they pay no attention to gun laws in the first place.
Their guns are practically, down to the last one, either stolen or bought from another criminal. So how you keep those out of their hands, I'm not sure.
Several studies have found that states with the toughest gun laws are now recording reduced gun violence. That's where Smith and Brown cannot agree. Smith sees those findings as using statistics to back up a point of view.
What they're using is a good gimmick to try and sell a bad product. What they neglect to bring into this picture is the population density.
Sabina Brown says the studies make it clear for her that tougher gun laws save lives.
States that have background checks have 46% fewer women shot to death by their intimate partners. They have 48% less law enforcement that's shot to death with a handgun. They have 48% less suicide by gun. So we have very good evidence that background check works.
The Oklahoma Rifle Association has long been active at the state capitol. Sabina Brown says there will now be another voice speaking to lawmakers about new gun laws.
We really encourage our members to be a part of the political process and to pay attention to what's going on and to reach out to their legislators by calling, writing letters, using social media, and most importantly, to remember where our legislators stood when it comes around to election time.
And when the legislature reconvenes next year, there will be at least one new gun law for them to examine. And it may be one the ORA and Moms Demand Action can find some common ground on. The practice of going out of state to get a concealed carry permit and avoiding Oklahoma training and safety requirements.
It's been our position that if you're an Oklahoman, you need to go through our courses. You know what our law is. For their own welfare, they should be eager to do that.
For now, the website Guns and Ammo rates Oklahoma as the 6th best state for gun owners. The main reasons given include right to carry, the right to use deadly force for personal protection, and a short list of places where weapons cannot be carried.